Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Tech. We are on time technically, we're just in the soonish. We got talking nerdy stuff, so we got stuck on that. But thank you guys for stopping by. John Stevens, Space Ace, two people right off the start, Game On, and hello. Thank you guys. I am Carl, aka The Real Ginger Tech. Hold on. The Real Ginger Tech. Yeah, I know Justin hates that. And just to the left of me, this is so weird. I have Justin, aka Justin Tech. We're gonna make that stick. Hi, Justin. How are you today, Justin? Yeah. Did you do another Carolina Reaper chip challenge? Never again. No, I want to do it again. Just not on camera. But I want to see if I can't. I mean, maybe record it just for keepsake. But I want to actually do the 1 hour challenge. But anyways, yeah. Not that chip, because that chip was stale as F. Yeah. Like I want like crispiness. Even just crispiness. Mine was stale. Like it was like chewy. Like I was like trying to get through that thing. So yep. But anyways, what is new in your world of tech? Let's start off with that. Anything? No sound from left. Say something. Say something. Oh, son of a bitch! Is it not working? Why? Let me check my routing tables. Hold on, people. Justin can hear me, but you can't hear. You guys can't hear him. So the chat test go.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, I gotta save this. I don't think I saved it after I changed it the last time. There we go. We should be good now. Always problems. Always.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess we just start right on over. Yeah, we talked about the one chip challenge. Justin will never do it again. We both agree that it tasted disgusting and we needed a good tasting chip with the heat and something that wasn't stale as like horrible stale cracker chip thing.
Right.
So what else? Well, yeah, so we were going what's new in your world of tech there? Anything?
I got my monitor replaced from Dell. I sent that back today.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. I've not had any new tech. I got a new mouse.
You got a new mouse? What mouse did you get?
What is it called? It's a Corsair mouse.
Yeah.
It has wireless charging.
Oh yeah, nice. Like you have the mouse pad that it charges off of?
I don't yet. I'm gonna wait for that to go on sale. It's not really necessary.
Yeah. I got a new
but
mouse
once
recently.
I have the mouse pad that charges it, then you're just doing wireless all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a new one recently too. I got the I got the MX Master 3 mouse. Oh, come on. Focus. I said focus. There it is. This has been a nice mouse. I like it.
See, I like Logitech, or I used to like Logitech. And as far as I know, their mice are still good, but the quality control on some of the stuff is just not great. I've had headsets that just go crazy. I've had
headsets, yes.
Keyboards with LEDs on the keyboard go out real easy, like
I
real
haven't
quick.
had the LEDs on keyboards go out, but I
Yeah,
have an
Kelly's
older.
keyboard.
Yeah, I do remember hers was pretty janky.
We only had it for like a year, and then it went
Yeah.
out, and she's like, "I'm switching to Corsair."
Yeah, and I have the same one she has, and that's a good keyboard.
The Corsair software for mouse buttons,
Yeah,
way better than Logitech.
For mouse buttons?
For mapping things. You've got way more options.
Including
automatic access to the function keys above F12.
Do you?
Because all computers know about function keys up to 24.
Yep.
Because keyboards used to have 2 rows of function keys.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a standard. 24 function keys is a standard, and you just normally can't access them. Well, a nice thing about that is those are actual keys that you can actually bind to things that computers know about, but no programs use because they know you don't have access to them. So you can bind like the side button on your mouse to that, and that's what I use for my push to talk, because then it doesn't conflict with anything at all, because nothing is ever bound to it.
Yeah. Or
And
you
then
can
it
go
doesn't
real
type into chat
crazy
or anything.
and do a whole lot of software to get a whole separate keyboard running on an F13 plus something else keyboard, or plus some other push button. I got that working at one point. That was fun. No, it wasn't.
I like the Stream Deck.
Stream Deck, yeah.
I like the Stream Deck because you can actually see what the buttons do. When you map different buttons on keyboards, you just have to remember or put stickers on.
Or put stickers, yeah. I actually have my Stream Deck.
The Dark Core RGB Pro Wireless, Pro SE wireless.
See what you got. Oh, looks
it's this one here, the SE.
Special edition.
Well, I don't know what it stands for, but that one has wireless. Otherwise, it's identical to this. This one doesn't have wireless.
It says
I got this one on sale for less than this one.
Oh wow,
so
that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm still rocking my G502 for when I do some gaming, hardcore. Minecraft, I still just stick with this guy. But this is when I want to go Call of Duty and just start moving quick.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to have more than one mouse, so I just use the gaming mouse for everything. In fact, my old mouse still functioned, but now I put it on my work PC.
I will say one thing that is, I don't know how else to get it, but this little scroll wheel on the side is, so it will adapt to whatever your active program is. And like, for example, in Chrome, it will switch between my tabs, which makes it really nice just by rolling the thumb. It's like switching between my tabs over here.
Yeah, I can see that being beneficial.
I mainly got it for the editing experience, and originally actually also for the Flow software. When I was working with, I was originally trying to do that with my new Mac M1 Mini. It's right down over here that you can't see it, and I'm not going to try and pull it out of there, because I was trying to use that for crossing over, but then it didn't carry the keyboard over, and I didn't want to have two keyboards, so I ultimately just ended up getting Synergy. So
yeah, Synergy is pretty nice.
Yeah, it used to be free years ago.
Before, and I bought it for when it was like on sale, and it was a long time ago, and I've not needed it since. But it was like when I was running like servers and stuff, and I wasn't remote desktopping into them. I was just having a screen up all the time.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah,
this is going to be my next keyboard.
Right. Oh, what do you got for another keyboard?
So this is the Corsair
A100.
A100.
Yep.
So this is a like context aware scroll wheel, kind of like on the side of the mouse.
Yep.
You can program this to do a lot of stuff. Like you got your volume and your media keys over here, and this is another just wheel, and you can bind that to do a bunch of stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen that one. That one looks pretty good. I don't know. For me, I don't know if it would be worth the upgrade, because it's the only thing that has is that media wheel compared to, or that wheel right there, compared to the K95. So, but it is a nice one.
Kelly's on the K95 as well, and
I will say
the K95 is a very nice keyboard. And this does have the scroll wheel. It also has optical switches, which is different. I've never used those before.
Yeah, let me know how that works.
But I think you can get optical switches for the K95.
Yeah, I like my mechanicals.
Other than that, they're very similar, and so buying a new one for that, that is not worth it. But and this has the lit up edge, which is also not worth doing anything about.
No, I got the lit at like the top lights up and not the sides. on the
Yeah, this one
K95.
it's got down lights on the side of the keyboard
Yeah.
to make your desk glow. It's like,
Eh,
yeah, I don't know if
no.
that's really worth spending anything
Yeah,
on.
if you're already at the K95. Nice. But yeah, that's cool. Yep, we always like new toys around here. In case anybody hasn't caught on to that yet, we're always buying something new out there. So, real
So
quick, just
what's
wanted
new in your tech world?
got the Mac M1, which so far I've been very impressed with. I've been trying to put it through some of its paces. It's definitely like I was talking to you before the stream. I have it set up in a way that I was even thinking about. I need to hook up my HD60S to capture what goes on there. Then I can pull it into the stream that way. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, right now I have it set up. Aside from doing this stream for the last week or so, I've had it set up on my 4K monitor to my right, using Synergy to bring the mouse and keyboard across, and then I just have audio coming out of that into my Go XLR, so that runs my speakers and my headphone all at once. It's been really nice. So I need to compile some sort of like editing test. I've been trying to find something online where like you could just do like clips that have, I've seen them somewhere, but I can't figure out where I saw them, so I can try and get them. But it basically tests how that would stack up compared to my just desktop here.
Yeah.
So yeah, because so far, I mean, it's a snappy little thing. Really surprised by how well it does. I got a nice little dongle type thing for it. Actually, here, let me pull this up. This is actually pretty slick. I found this on a YouTube video, and it works really well for expanding hard drive space and just overall usage. Yeah, I guess I can just pull it up in here. I don't think anything should show. I got this guy right here. So like the Mac Mini is not included. That's the top part, but it's this guy right here. Threw in a 1 terabyte Samsung Evo SSD into it. And then it's got the USB ports and SD card up front there. Connects via USB-C into the Thunderbolt. So should have some pretty decent speeds on that. Should be more than what the SSD could handle. But it just gives a nice clean look, aside from the fact it's two different colors.
Oh, it's two different colors.
Well, like my Mac Mini is silver, whereas this is like the space gray, but I couldn't find a base in the silver.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's the only downfall. But it still looks cool, and it gives me a little bit of expandability there. So,
Nice.
yeah. Aside from that, yeah, I got nothing else new aside from just been trying to get that.
Kind of a slow tech.
It really is.
I mean, until one of us gets a hold of like a video card.
Yeah, right. But but the thing is, like, I know you were kind of talking about doing an upgrade, somewhat. But for me, it's like everything runs fine the way it is for me right now. So unless I just came into a good chunk of change, I'm not buying a video card at these current prices. Like with all the.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not paying more than MSRP for a video card.
No.
And so I'm waiting for him to come back in stock and be at MSRP.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably
Wait
pick
for
pick one of them up. But I don't know. Like I was going to go with an AMD card this time. I was gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go with the 6900X or whatever.
6900 XT for
XT,
the graphics card. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was gonna go with that one, and I was looking at it, and it's like, okay, well, it's $1,000, which is a lot, but it's only a couple $100 more than what I spent on my current video card when I bought that. So it's not crazy. And then it's like, oh, it's supposed to compete with the 3090, and all the numbers is showing no, it's more in line with the 3080, which is
3080. What I saw was it wasn't competing with the 3090, but it was doing better than the 3080. So to me, it's almost like the equivalent of a 3080 Super from what I was reading. 1600 versus 3090. Yeah, we'll just go with that one. So 6900 XT is placed 5th compared to the 3900 or 3090, which is at first. But if we compare that to a 30, well, helps if we pull something up. RTX 3080. I guess this may not be the best comparison then, because this is showing that it's still 3rd versus 5th. You get a 1% average score increase.
There's not a lot of people who have the 6900 XT yet.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've not seen is supposedly the 3900 XT has a lot of headroom. But spec wise, it's almost identical to the 6800 XT. It has the same number of, it has a few more processing cores, not even a ton more.
No.
But the memory speed is the same, and the same amount of memory.
So basically, the way I've seen it, I think who was it? Did Jay's 2 cents? I think did the last one that I saw was saying that it's basically a 3800 or a 6800 XT that's been binned. Like it's a cherry picked.
Does that justify $350? That's the price difference.
So how much does so it's $350?
Yeah, so it's $650 for 6800 XT or $1,000 for 6900 XT.
Yeah. So
and now if you're doing a 6800 XT versus a 3080 at MSRP, not paying more than that, the 3080 is on average 12% better. It's 14% better FPS in CS:GO, 11% in GTA 5. And you look at all these numbers.
I think we have to wait and see, because I mean, these numbers do update. So
they do.
Wait until there's actual spot them in the wild.
Well, the
right now, no.
6800 XT has been around for a bit longer. And so there are more numbers from the 6800 XT, but it's still, it's not as competitive out the gate than I hoped it would. Now there's still driver updates that could be coming that might make it better, and there's overclocking. Like there's not a lot of overclocking of these cards that have been done yet.
Yeah,
and maybe they overclock really well. And there are points where AMD does beat NVIDIA on certain workloads, but it's none of the workloads that I would care about.
Yeah,
it's not most games, and it's not video editing.
Yeah. No, and yeah, I agree. There's definitely something to be said that if you're gonna pay $300 more than a 3080, it should be better than a 3080 if you're gonna justify that price.
Right.
But
and then the last nail in the coffin for me is my first news article that I've got. So the big thing that's supposed to make the 6800 XT better is its memory access. But
smart memory access,
AMD smart access memory makes things faster. NVIDIA adds smart access memory. You can do it on NVIDIA cards and Intel. You don't need AMD to do this.
Well,
it's actually been in the spec for a long time. They've just not turned it on.
Now, hold on. There was, I think it was Linus. He was talking about it in his review of this. Or he was talking about it somewhere. That we need to wait and see which one actually does better. Because it's not just they're both doing the same thing. It's how they're doing it. It's what's supposed to be. I'm just saying supposed to be.
Right. They're both based on the same spec of the PCI Express lanes, the PCI Express bus. It's the same core thing, but it's going to be kind of like the fight between FreeSync and G-Sync, where they're basically the same technologies, but they're implemented slightly differently.
Mhm.
And so there could be advantages. The AMD one said that they did say that there's driver stuff and all kinds of stuff that they did that makes theirs better. So theirs could be better, but I think in the Linus video when he was talking about it, there's a motherboard manufacturer that already enabled it, and with an NVIDIA card on a Intel platform, they got that working and got nearly the same results. And that last little bit is probably not worth it. And that's the whole. It's like it's not the nail in the. It's not the saving grace that AMD thought it would be. And the other thing is that even though if it's there, game developers and video editing software needs to know it's there and
In order
code
to
for
use
it
yeah.
in order for it to even mean
Yep.
anything.
And and that is true. And one of those things is also we also have to look, yes, maybe the 6800 and the 6900, they're not what we were hoping for quite yet, but also looking at their track record, I mean, they're creeping up there. I mean, they're dealing some blows to Nvidia now that they haven't done for a long time, in the same way that their CPUs are doing to Intel. So maybe this is that turning point. Like I was watching, I think it was Jay's 2 cents. He was talking about how and this is a little ways back on the 3080 series and 3090 and all that, but the RTX came out and it was good, but it was still like its infancy of RTX. And the 3000 series cards is now where it's coming to fruition. And I'm almost wondering, yes, it's not quite there in a head-to-head comparison, but is this that shifting point here with the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT? Are they finally starting to get into that we're going to be competitive?
And the thing is, they've been working on trying to be competitive for a couple of generations, and this was supposed to be the tipping point, and it's not where I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
Because last generation they were competitive at the 2070.
Yeah.
But NVIDIA made a much bigger leap than AMD did. Now, AMD's leap between their last gen and this gen is still impressive, but unfortunately, Intel actually is hitting a bigger leap at better price points. So it's kind of like I'd hoped for more, and we might see more.
You said Intel's hitting a bigger leap at better price points.
NVIDIA made a bigger leap between the 2000 and 3000 series.
I was about to say, I was like,
not Intel processing.
Yeah.
AMD's
I thought you had said Intel for some reason. I was just
I said Intel accidentally,
yeah,
and I think I corrected myself. But
I was like, AMD's like smacking Intel around like it's the redheaded stepchild that I've always been.
And that's true. And AMD is doing really good on the processor side of things. And I was really hoping for them to be doing that good on the video card part of things, but they're not quite there.
No.
And they're at the generation where they should have been in theory, but it might be that they're still playing catch up a bit because NVIDIA also made such a big leap this last generation.
Yeah. And I'm looking at some of these like tests that I've seen run here, and like I'm looking at Linus's videos right now in his marks, but like I'm looking at the 6900 XT, and like here, I'm just gonna throw this up here. 6900 XT is right across the top, 3090 right below it, still obviously getting beat by the 3090, but the 3080 is down here. Let me go see if that helps. Sorry, Linus, I'm using your graphs. 3080 is right here. 3090, and notice that obviously there's not a massive, like I don't think there's $350 in 8 FPS for your average, but it's
right.
Like from what Sorry,
That's also with DXR off.
Yeah, and that's where they're really falling short is the ray tracing, because that was what was it? Let me see, I can't find it here.
And what is the
Once
other technology
the
that NVIDIA has?
DLSS.
DLSS. That's
Yes.
also
And this is
with
where you
DLSS
really
off.
see the ray tracing. That's when it just gets the snot kicked out of it.
Right. And the DLSS.
Yep. But how many games are fully utilizing DLSS and DXR?
DLSS is not something games need to implement. It just works. Games need to implement ray tracing, but they don't need to do anything to implement DLSS.
I thought that was something that had to be, well, doesn't officially have to be supported, but to actually see a noticeable difference, it had to have DLSS 2.0 support.
I think all they need to do is put into the game a button. They don't have to code anything different. They just have to make a button and tell it to use it.
No financial cost. In other words, DLSS is like for having a virtual SLI setup that works with any games that the developers choose to put it into. So it still has to be activated to some extent. You may still see, like, even if it's not DLSS 2.0 supported, you'll still get some benefits out of it, but to get the full benefits, it actually has to have some sort of support from the developer. But NVIDIA made it exceptionally easy for developers to add it into their games. So,
because my understanding is they basically just need to put a patch in a button in the video settings that says turn on DLSS. It's not that they have to change anything in their code.
Well,
they
I'm
just
not saying they have to change anything, but they have to add it to them. Whereas, like, I'm looking right now at a list of
the button.
I'm looking at a list of supported DLSS 2.0 games for 2020, and we're at maybe 15 to 20 games. So, I mean, like, it's one of those things. It's like ray tracing. Last year, or when the RTX series came out, there wasn't a ton of support there yet. It's gonna happen. It's gonna become a standard. But, anyways.
I think DLSS is going to be more, not necessarily more important, more pervasive than ray tracing.
Yeah.
I think ray tracing, it started off as a gimmick, but it's getting good enough and running fast enough on the newer generation that we're heading in the direction where ray tracing is probably the way of the future. Because it looks so much better. And when the hardware fully supports it, it's going to be real nice. But DLSS will make current generation stuff look better on older hardware. It just has to be hardware that supports it.
Yeah. No, and yeah, I fully support it. I want a game and everything look just gorgeous, but it's a matter of when it could be this year or 2021 that we see it just start getting implemented across the board. It could be 2022. But hopefully by then maybe AMD will pull their heads out their asses with their graphics cards.
Yeah, they just
come on, take a cue from your CPU division.
Yeah, they need to. They kicked it into high gear. They just need to give it that little extra oomph and then activate something like DLSS.
Yeah.
Ray tracing is nice. Ray tracing is good that they're working on it, but DLSS is, I think, more important, and they should be focusing on that because that'll make games look significantly better and run significantly better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. Maybe Minecraft Java edition could get some DLSS support.
I think that it does.
Does it? Java, not Java edition. That's the key.
Yeah, no,
that's
Bedrock.
The key. I don't want to have to go Bedrock. I don't have to buy Minecraft again. Real quick, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the chat. We got more people in here that we haven't addressed yet. We got Alan in here, and he's informing us. No audio from Justin. We got that figured out. Bill Wilson. Yep, everything's normal. Rod Priester. Hey, how's it going, Rod? And we also got Keokima Isharen. I don't know. What is that from? I don't know if I've ever asked him that. You know? That's our friend Joe, but I don't know what Keokima Isharen is for. Never understood the appeal of the RGB lights on everything. It's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like it to some extent. I think that there is going overboard.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not there yet. Um, I do like some RGB.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't do any kind of RGB-ness right now. All my background light. But Bill Wilson says, right, if I'm the only one on the floor or working in a room by myself, I don't have to wear it. Thursday always people on 2 out of 3 floors in lobby. I'm not quite sure what he meant by that.
Still talking about the mask. Not having to wear a mask.
Oh, the mask. Yes, no mask. Yeah, no mask here. Well, at least now, because I'm in my own home. Murad had to go reset his Wi-Fi. And Lydia, hey, thanks for stopping by. Even if you're late, it's all good. We appreciate you stopping by. And Joe says it's 100% made up name. Okay, perfect. Now we know. So, continuing on with, well, I guess kind of segueing into the CPU side of things. The Mac M1 chip has been very popular. Very, very popular. But they may not be the only one making ARM chips right now, or in the near future, I should say. AMD is actually exploring this. So they actually started working on this in 2014. Jim Keller was the architect or director of architecture or whatever for the ARM chip that they are working on, that they were calling the K12 project. That was aimed at tablets, smartphones, laptops, and servers. Yet the project was buried, but AMD is looking to resurrect that, and be interesting to see what they could do. So, what's your thoughts on ARM chips here in the desktop and laptop space?
I mean, ARM. I mean, RISC processors in general, not just ARM.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can let go so much baggage, if they're developed in the same way that Intel and AMD do their chips, it can be faster and better. You just lose some functionality of backwards compatibility, but emulation is getting so much better.
And that's another thing. Just kind of jumping on that ARM thing. Windows is officially able. Well, not officially able. It has done a release of the x64 emulation, which is what's needed to do what we would normally run on a computer now, but with an ARM chip. Makes sense. That they announced it, but now you can actually, as a tester, you can get Windows for ARM that supports x64 emulation. So awesome that, because then you don't run into the issue of you've bought all this software or stuff that is only x64 compatible.
So, yeah, all your old games. You can't play any of your old games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't run into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, basically, like with DaVinci, I'm gonna use that as an example. I got lucky in which they already have an ARM compatible version, so I was able to install that on the Mac M1 Mini here. So,
nice.
But otherwise, it did give me the option of running, what do they call it? Rosetta? Yeah, Rosetta. That would allow me to install the x64 version, or equivalent, whatever the Mac version of that would be, versus the M1. So that, I think if we get enough different processors out there that are ARM processors that we're more likely to see people changing that development. But
Yeah, it's the whole uh chicken or the egg situation.
yeah,
Like
one of them
there's
has to
not
come
enough
first.
there's not enough processors out there for developers to be worth their time to develop for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's not enough developers doing stuff to make processors worth their time to do it. But Apple making that leap
Yeah.
is going to start the wave
Yeah.
basically of
Yes. Yeah. I
new
completely
development.
agree. Apple, good job. Doesn't happen too often that I say that, but good job. Um, but no, I think somebody had to make that leap. The nice thing about these is power consumption, heat generation, like all these things are limiting factors now, which if you were to apply the same concept of architecture, because it would have to be a different architecture compared to what we currently have, if they have that same like build up to where you could have the same processor or an ARM processor run at 5 gigahertz with 8 cores and 12 threads. Like it's not going to take a 550 watt power supply to run that. It's going to take a 100-watt power supply to run that.
Right. And then there's the whole concept of gigahertz doesn't map over directly. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it simple.
Yeah, if you've got a processor that's get eight, like my processor is 8 cores, 16 threads at 5 gigahertz, uses 150 or 160 watts, something like that. I don't remember
Yeah.
the numbers specifically. But the ARM equivalent at 5 gigahertz would probably be like 30 watts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe less.
Yep.
And that same 5 gigahertz is actually getting you more processing,
because it's not having to do like what you were talking about initially. That's I guess the best way to put it is the old way of doing things. It's not having to do that
layer.
Yeah.
And,
it's not having to do as many steps. That's what the whole RISC is. It's reduced instruction set computing. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yes.
And it's not, so the reduced instruction set allows it to not, so the processor is made up of physical things, right? Physical bits. And those bits are laid out in a way that it knows how to add numbers, and it knows how to do multiplication, and it knows how to do this, and all of that things that it knows how to do add together and become Windows running on your computer and stuff, and playing games and all that stuff. And it knows all these base building blocks. But those base building blocks are then laid out in instructions that it knows how to do. So it's like if you tell it to do certain things, well, it knows how to do those certain things. And there's a lot of those things that it knows how to do that nobody needs anymore. But it has to keep it for backwards compatibility, or it can't call itself an x86 processor.
Because we've basically been building off of that same foundation, just slowly building up. But it still always had that same.
Yeah, starting over with the RISC, now all the things that nobody uses, you can just drop.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you can create more efficient, smaller packages with less physical bits to it because you have less instructions it needs to know how to do. And those same that smaller subset of instructions still covers 99% of what everybody uses, but because it's not the same architecture, it might be able to do the same things, but you have to tell it to do it slightly differently.
Yeah.
And that's where the compatibility things need to be rewritten.
And that's, or
at least recompiled.
Yeah. And that's where stuff like Rosetta on Mac works, and it's able to translate between, x86 to what we see now, or x64, and what their current set instruction sets are. So and I think that's great, because ultimately, like, the whole ARM thing, at first I'm like, okay, it's phones, I mean, we've had ARM CPUs in phones for how long now?
Long time.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty much
even,
since the start of the smartphone.
2007.
Yeah. So, um, that's what people would most commonly associate it with, I think. But if you get somebody like AMD, like Intel, like Apple, what?
First mobile phone to use an ARM processor.
You would look it up.
Take one guess.
Nokia.
Hey, did you look at it?
No, I really didn't. I'm gonna say the Nokia.
Guess what year?
2004.
Nope.
1993.
Somewhere between 97.
Oh, 97.
97.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. You have it pulled up right now?
Yeah, it's just
the Nokia 6110. Oh, yeah. But the nice, anyways, where I was going with this is right now we're in a way with the processors that we have that there's typically sacrifices to go mobile. There's always the, 10900K, and then there's the 10900KH or whatever their mobile equivalent is, which it always has some sort of lower power limit because, and it's not going to boost as high because it's, overall power plus heat and all that. But now if you get everybody over into ARM, you now have something that this chip can go boop. Oh yeah, we're going to put that in that desktop, or we're going to throw it in the laptop. And it's the same chip,
There's two ways to go about that, because on the one hand, yeah, you could go that way, or you could make a massive ARM chip that has 128 cores, all running at 5 gigahertz, because you have so much heat headroom to work with.
That's running off the same power supply that's currently running your computer or my computer.
Right.
You
have so much heat overhead that you can do that.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. I'd like to see where that goes because I've always been a believer in more power. So desktops always kind of have leaned more towards me. Whereas, if you eventually have a laptop that is just as powerful as a desktop by today's standards, I guess, then you can have a laptop dock and just call it good.
So the M1, that's a new chip, right?
Yes.
The M1.
You want me to show your
processor is 10 watts.
Yep.
9900K.
Real quick, while you're looking that up, Tech Maniac, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
The 9900K is 95 watts. So imagine, oh no, 130 watts when running at full speed. So imagine being able to have 13 A1s stacked together running your programs or M1s.
Yep. Oh, that would definitely be impressive. And I'm trying to look up right now. I want to see the actual specs of an M1 chip. Because I know it's an 8 core, but I don't think it's threaded.
And it says it's 3 times the performance per watt, and that's coming from the RISC architecture.
Yep. Okay, so its CPU clock rate, max CPU clock rate of the M1 is 3.2 gigahertz. And this is a first generation chip. So something to think about. This one's also designed with 8 cores. 4 of them are high performance, 4 of them are high efficiency. So basically 4 of them are going to sit there idle until you really need them. Then they'll kick in. And then it also has 8 GPU cores on top of that. So,
and that's one of the things that desktop processors don't do is have high performance cores and not high performance cores. Now, AMD and Intel both have a process where they can determine what your best core in your processor is, and when you're doing single thread tasks, will turbo that core or maybe the 2 best cores,
depending on what
choose those ones to go faster because it knows it can make them go faster. But they're not actually designed to go faster. Those are just, every processor is made up of trillions of transistors, and some of them are going to be bad. Some of them are going to not work. It's just how it works. And so, yeah, you work around it, and you know that certain number are going to be bad, and that gets you this much speed. And it figures out the chips, the cores that have the least bad transistors is basically how it goes.
Yeah.
And picks those ones to go.
Yeah. Whereas
if a transistor is bad, doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't work. It just might generate more heat to do the same thing.
Yeah, which means it's not as efficient to try and push that as hard as one that doesn't have a big transistor. So, and you know, with all of this said, and Apple kind of initiating this movement, I do need to segue into let's crap on Apple in time.
We can't talk good stuff on them for too much.
No. I feel like a lot of these streams lately have, for the most part, been like positive Apple news, which I mean, you know, I mean, I don't hate Apple. I just, you know, I just don't care for Apple. No, I'm just kidding. But I did was reading this, and I thought this was kind of interesting. This kind of follows up with some articles we were one series of articles we were talking about in particular over the last couple months, and that is Fortnite. Fortnite has been trying to sue Apple, saying you're being unfair and you're a monopoly, and you know they can't afford to give you millions of dollars a year just because they want a 30% cut. Well, Cydia, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I haven't actually looked up the way to pronounce it, but Cydia was actually one of the first app stores on Apple. And Justin even had to look this up. It's like, well, why would you not have an app store when you launch this device? And so back in 2007, when the iPhone first launched, Cydia was an app store that you could use for iPhone. Kind of weird, right? I mean, like, thinking about it now, there is no other app store for iPhones. There's no other Play Store for Google phones or for Android phones. Like, those are kind of like the go-to things. Well, apparently, so Cydia started all this off, and basically Apple just gave him the boot and maybe even shot him in the back of the head because they ran them into the ground. Basically the lawsuit alleges that Apple used anti-competitive means to nearly destroy Cydia, clearing the way for the App Store. And that's claiming that basically there's a monopoly over there on the iOS store, which, you know, I mean, that's not a hard one to argue there. They basically say you have to go through their stuff without voiding any kind of warranty. Like, you can always root it and sideload stuff and do this and that, but that's against their EULA.
And Android devices, there are other app stores for Android devices, and you have to enable side loading, but you're not rooting the device and ruining your warranty to do it.
Because and that's the thing with Android, it is open source. Like, yes, Google owns it, like the rights to it, but they're just like, go ahead, guys, have fun. And you know, like video games over the years, it's Google goes, hey, that's a good idea. I'm going to start implementing that somehow in our system. So, and that's kind of, it's a good and a bad thing. The majority good, some little bits of bad, but
good. It's good and bad. There's give and take. I give you free Android. I take all your ideas.
But the thing is it does improve it quicker. And, you know, from what I see, it's because you're not just having this group of people that work at Android. They're the only ones improving it because it's locked down. It's you have the whole world. Anybody that has a good idea, they're able to try implementing that, and Google can go, hey, we're open source, so you're going to share with us, right? You know, like, that's kind of one of the good and bad things about it. Is if you are a developer for it and you are trying to make new things for it, good for you. If you're expecting to get paid, they don't care.
No, people do some. I mean, you don't have to give it to Google, but if it's open source, I mean, they're gonna take it.
Yeah, they're
so
gonna.
It really depends on what you're doing.
They're gonna refine it and do it the way they're gonna accomplish the same thing, but they're just gonna make it look like it was theirs.
Yeah, and that's I mean that's really what everybody does. It's not
that is
Google.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like ray tracing coming to AMD cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, AMD.
But so back on the positive, Apple / Google.
What do you got?
Did you see this?
Hold on. I don't. I got yours hidden. I got to see it before I approve it.
You hide my video.
I only have so much real estate. You realize
4K.
I've got Skype call, OBS. I've got.
You don't snap to corners and have quarter
no,
screens?
that's what I have. And on my 4K monitor, it is Skype call so I can see you, OBS so I can see what we're outputting. I got the live stream on YouTube just so I can see and make sure we're still running, and make sure we're not getting any drops or anything. And then I have the chat, and then on my other monitor is just Chrome. I need that. I got to be able to see it. Anyways. Oh, yes, I did see this now that you mention it. Okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll allow
it. I was really, well, okay, hold on. I was surprised, but not surprised at the same time.
I'm still wondering who was preventing it from working in the first place.
It was Apple.
So Apple finally said, "Go ahead, let us use it."
I am 100 or I'm 99.9% sure it was Apple that was the holdout, because at one point, I want to say this was about a year ago, I had seen somebody had gone into their Google Home app, and they were looking through music services, and there was an Apple Music option in there. But it immediately got taken down. Like it went up accidentally for like a day and then got retracted. So I have a feeling like Google's like, hey, we're going to make this available so that when Apple is cool with it, we're going to allow it to happen.
Yeah, I imagine that's exactly what happened, but the way that it's being announced by Google, that and it's not like a joint announcement.
No, and but it's one of those things. It's like Amazon and YouTube. Amazon and Google kind of made up when they figured, okay, Amazon can have YouTube on the Fire Sticks, and Google can have casting with Amazon Prime Video. Like eventually they're going to have to give way. There's just no way. Excuse me. There's just no way that, you're going to get everybody by locking down your system. Like there are people that are going to want to subscribe to Apple Music, but they have Google speakers. The minute amount of people that have that, is where that scenario plays out. If you want to reach more people and try and suck them into your ecosystem, you're going to have to get into somebody else's ecosystem, like just to start off. That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's true.
So no, I'm super happy about that. If I had Apple Music, I'd be even happier. But now that's one less thing for Craig to say Apple or Amazon Echoes are better at.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction that I think you're going to start seeing a lot more crossover stuff.
Do you use Google's Google Play Music isn't a thing anymore. YouTube
Music, yes.
Okay. Are you as frustrated with the changes that they did recently as I am? with the unlimited playlists going away.
Unlimited playlist? Yes,
So when you go into YouTube Music,
Mm-hmm.
the very first thing on my list is the Your Mix.
Mixed for you.
Right.
Yeah.
It used to be called Your Mix, and that Your Mix was kind of like Pandora,
Mhm.
where it grabbed random songs that kind of match what you like, or basically match what you like, and played songs that you maybe never even heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're static playlists that get updated every week.
Oh.
And you know, if you listen through the 100 songs on the playlist, it'll just start over and play that same 100 songs. You're not getting anything new anymore. It used to be you hit the end of the playlist, it would just add more random songs.
Oh, I
You know?
see what you're talking. Okay. I guess I've never
So
really
like I listen to
used.
YouTube Music at work, and I
Okay.
listen to it all day, and I'm listening to the same songs over and over again instead of getting new songs every once in a while.
No, that makes sense.
It's kind of frustrating.
My primary use for this is just the random music, like I would use Pandora, except no ads, Pandora.
You can get ad-free Pandora for
Yeah.
about the same as ad-free Google Music.
But Google Music also gives you ad-free YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
And the stupid thing, unless Pandora has fixed it, when I paid for ad-free Pandora.
Yes. I remember this.
And if you had a free account, you could listen to Pandora on multiple devices.
Mm-hmm.
Once you pay for it, it won't let you listen to it on more than one device, which I get. It's like, okay, fine, I'm paying for one device.
Yeah, I remember that.
Whatever.
It was a weird. There was something else
the
too.
Other thing, there was a setting on Pandora.
Because we ran into it on one of our road trips, didn't we?
Yeah, because I couldn't do what we wanted to do.
Yeah, it was something weird. And I was like, oh, I have that feature, but I was on free Pandora. You'll have to think about that.
And as soon as you pay for it, that
you lose a feature.
Goes away.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
It was something that you could do on PC, but you couldn't do on the app. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't remember. But primarily, I use my YouTube Music as I build a playlist. I have like a bunch of different playlists that I just add stuff to as I hear it.
Yeah, and I like to do thumbs up, thumbs down, and let it build its own playlists. And it's automatic. Your Mix was really good. It's gotten kind of crappy recently.
Yeah, because now it's My Super Mix is formerly Your Mix. That's what it is.
But it's not the same anymore.
And yes, there is an end to the list. So, and that may be something that they'll work on. It's 100 songs.
The only time you got to the end of Your Mix was if you didn't have internet when it hit the end of the list.
Oh, yeah.
Then it would actually just not be able to go on, and you'd have to reload or something. I've hit the end of the unlimited a couple of times because I was driving and hit a dead zone when it was trying to change songs.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. But
yeah. So I think we hit up this last article that you had brought up right before the stream here. You know
this one?
Yes. So while we're complaining about Google, because that's what we do. Justin found this, and I had seen this somewhere as well, but I didn't read too terribly much into it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it looks like. I've not looked into it all to see what the OS actually looks like.
The actual GUI.
Yeah, Google is now calling you to help develop its enigmatic Fuchsia OS. I think it's like Enigma.
Yeah,
enigmatic, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's never been called a replacement for Android or Chrome OS, but it's supposed to go on things like mobile devices and laptops. So we were talking about this a little bit before, and I've not seen it. So,
And one thing that I'm kind of liking, we talked about this before, and I pointed out, one thing I'm liking about the concept of this is it is creating that ecosystem, kind of like what Apple has done, but I'm I'm hoping it doesn't go the same way the Chromebooks have, which have been primarily, not fully, but primarily dependent on internet access. And
right.
that's
They've got tiny, tiny hard drives. Everything's in the cloud.
yeah,
There's good things about that, and there are
yeah,
bad things about that. When everything's in the cloud, if your device dies, gets destroyed, whatever,
hmm,
all you do is log into another Chromebook, and all your stuff is just boom there.
yes, yep.
So that's nice, and
There's
it's nice
definitely
for
benefits there.
yeah, it's nice for things like people who do just basically browse the web,
Hmm.
use web apps and do stuff like that. It's great because everything is just there. Um, but when you want to do a more in-depth, involved thing, like if you ever wanted to try gaming on it or you wanted to do video editing on it, you kind of have to have that stuff local.
Yeah.
And it does have a local hard drive, but it's not very big.
No, it was like
I don't
64
know
gigs,
how easy it
maybe.
is to make sure stuff is going on local versus going into the
Well,
cloud.
and the thing was, it was like a 64 gig eMMC memory or whatever it was. Like it wasn't like a traditional just here's a 256 gig SSD.
It was onboard hard drive. It's not
Yes.
replaceable. It's not a standard SSD. It runs like a standard SSD. It has a controller like a standard SSD, but it's built into the board. It's not. It's all a one board system. That's part of the way it can be so cheap, though, because
Yep.
they are crazy cheap.
Yeah, no, and I mean they have their purpose. I mean, students or, grandparents or people that just don't necessarily need anything more than being able to check an email, check Facebook, check whatever.
Use
Um,
Google Docs.
use Google Docs, that's they were perfect for that. But that is such a small group of people, and I honestly believe that group of people is growing smaller and smaller every year. Like, just it's everybody is on some form of computer. That if they take Fuchsia OS and where'd that go? No, and there. If they take this Fuchsia OS and they go that same path, I feel like you're not going to gain any traction. Versus if you actually make it, here's a not necessarily a gaming laptop or a productivity laptop, but just start off with here's a laptop, an ultrabook, or a notebook, or something that's capable of, I could go do everything without being connected to the internet, and then connect and still be able to do everything, obviously. I think that's what they need to do.
Fuchsia S installing is weird. I'm just reading through how you install it. You need two PCs on a network to install it.
What?
It uses something. The Fuchsia install process is called paving. It requires two machines: the machine in which you build Fuchsia, which is the host, and the device in which you want to run Fuchsia, the target. They must be able to communicate over a local area network. And I've done that with Windows before, where you have like a server running that has like the Windows install media on it, and you network boot, and it boots to the install media and then installs Windows on the local device. But this is different. It seems like you're actually building it on one PC and pushing it onto
I
another.
wonder if this isn't the same way Chromebooks are set up.
Maybe.
Like, I wonder if that's what they're going for here. This would be because, like, this is still in pre-production, so essentially you're creating your own small network in which your primary or host desktop is the equivalent of the Google server, and your secondary desktop is what's actually would be the equivalent of the Chromebook. So
Yeah, I might have to see if I can get this set up on something.
well, you could always.
I think I can use my normal PC as the push device, and then use something like my old laptop as
Mm-hmm.
a device
The
that's holding
target
it.
device.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
target device. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be, hey, that could be a fun little side project. So, but I think we do need to wrap it up here. Do you want to jump in? We haven't really hit the chat up too much, so I want to just kind of come back to that. Bill Wilson, off subject, I know, but he won a Flex Volt reciprocating saw / impact driver kit with charger and 2 batteries on a YouTube channel. That's a solid deal. Like, you won that.
Oh
Those
yeah.
things are not cheap. So kudos for you, Bill Wilson. We also have Stormer in here. Stormer wanted to join early, but these machines have been keeping me busy at work. Hey, Stormer, you know what? We're glad you can make it at all. Appreciate it. Bill Wilson says that's like a top 40 station when we're talking about Google YouTube Music.
Oh yeah.
Because, yeah, it's like top 40 stations. You always hear the same song over and over. But apparently, Amazon took away music. Prime took away your music. What? The free Amazon Music? Yes, you could play music on your PC. Oh, I wonder if they're talking about, so can I just listen to music on here on Amazon?
Can you play songs you have on your PC with unlimited, like kind of like on Apple Music, you can stream music or you can play MP3s that are on your PC.
Oh, I
I'm thinking that's
gotcha.
what he's talking about.
Yes, you can play music on your PC. I have Amazon Music Unlimited, $80 a year. I'm cheap, just pay for Prime. Yeah, I just have Prime also. I don't have the Amazon Music.
I think I've tried the Prime Music and it wasn't anything special. I honestly my favorite music was Pandora, and then they were being stupid. So I switched to Google Play Music, which was a close second, and
Yeah.
then they forced me over to YouTube Music, which was kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've lost, it looks more like Google Music, but it's lost so much of its stuff.
Yeah.
And
I still use Pandora. Just because I have a station on there that is there's no way I could ever rebuild the station anywhere without getting all the different songs, which I do for the most part. Will actually go, oh yeah, I gotta get this song on my playlist. But that's when I'm just like, I don't know what I want to listen to, but I'm gonna throw this on there and all right, I can listen to that one. But for the most part, I primarily do use YouTube Music now. So
I think, like, I'm trying to look at it. I don't know if Fuchsia OS has a full desktop environment.
See, this is what I was worried about. This is
No,
what I.
like it. I don't think it has a GUI. I think it's, well, okay. So there's
Would
some
have to have
images of a
some
GUI.
sort of a GUI there. For
It
those of
looked
you that
command
don't
line.
know,
Everything was command line.
but what?
Everything that
Uh,
they were talking about was command line.
for those of you
But
that don't know,
I'm
GUI
seeing some
is
basic
GUI.
interfaces.
It's graphical user interface. Basically, it's what Windows looks like versus typing everything in command lines.
Yeah, like what you imagine Linux is,
Yeah,
versus what you
it
see on
actually.
Windows.
Yes. Linux is not all command lines anymore. Actually, some
But Windows actually, Windows in the server environment is moving to command line only.
are they really? They're getting rid of.
Yeah, because you cut out the overhead. You don't
Yeah,
need it on a server.
that's true.
I don't do it because I I need to be able to move around better.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm not really
I
seeing
might try it out
anything.
at some
I'm kind
point.
of looking at. I'm watching your screen right now, and I want to see what Fuchsia OS actually brings.
So
Otherwise,
aside from being able to install it on a physical device, it does have um a uh does have getting started with Fuchsia emulator, FEMU. It's an emulator you can run on your computer.
oh, that'd be cool to check out. You have to do by next stream. You should have that played with. So you could be like, yeah, it's not worth it, or hey, this
Yeah.
might be a thing.
It won't be worth it now.
No,
It really won't be,
yeah,
but
obviously.
maybe eventually.
No, but I mean like whether or not it's a viable, thing going forward. But
Yeah.
I'm still worried about it saying you have to do a fuchsia host and then a target. Like that's they need to come out with
That might
something.
just be the way it's doing it now
Yeah.
because it doesn't have a full install environment yet.
Yep. Yeah. No, and they may change that to where it does have a full like just a dedicated install. I mean, even Apple, you can just do a dedicated install, But the guy got the kit for $200 and full price is going 400 to 500. Yeah, I know exactly which kit you're talking about. We had him over at Best Buy. Had him over at Home Depot for $199 for the kit. So yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal. According to Alan, you can download and save however much music you want to on your portable device, but not your PC. The biggest problem is that you have to reactivate it every month. Oh, every 30
Oh, for the
days. Yeah, for
Amazon.
the Amazon Music.
I think Google Play has the same thing because you can download
Oh,
songs to your phone.
with
I don't
those
think you can
though,
download to the PC.
yeah, but with those, you don't have to do anything. It just has to have an internet connection no later than 30 days.
Yeah, if it
Just
doesn't check in on its own, it
yeah,
handles everything.
yeah.
For 30 days, it'll stop
But
working.
yeah, it's like YouTube videos. You can download those onto a device and watch them for up to 30 days without an internet connection. Google Maps. You can download a map and you can run it off there as long as your device has GPS. It will continue to operate just fine without internet for 30 days. After the 30 days, you have to reconnect it to the internet somehow
Does
and it'll
Does
just go,
Maps do
okay.
that 30-day thing?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that they did. That doesn't make much sense to me that it would have to.
I think to
Maps.
me it almost seems like it might be some sort of liability thing in case a road changes or something else
Yeah, but
happens. That's the only
you'd
thing I
think
could figure.
Garmin would be in trouble with that too. My car's GPS hasn't been updated in 6
Yeah,
years.
that's true.
You
Yeah,
know, it wouldn't
yeah.
be the first
I don't
one running into
know what That's the only reason I could figure on that. Um, but yeah, I don't know what else what other reasoning it would be. But yeah, my console, my tablet in my car, that I can download maps and now map will work just fine for 30 days. After the 30 days, it goes, you need to connect to the internet just for a second. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of dumb. I don't think that should have any 30-day limit on that. I mean, the music is license reasons if you're not
Yeah.
paying your license for it, but Maps is free. That's not like you're not paying your Maps fee.
Yeah. Why does Google, yeah, I misspelled Google. Maps need access to internet every 30 days? Let's find out. Oh, hold on. Google Maps increased offline retention. Oh no, this is from ghacks.net. Never mind. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, it doesn't really. I'm not seeing anything that says like this is why they do it.
Google Maps help support. I have an offline map saved to my local area, so anytime I'm out of service.
Yeah.
However, every time I go to view the map, it asks me to re-download, completely defeating the purpose, as I don't have service.
See, mine automatically downloads when I have a connection to it. Like when it connects to the internet, it will automatically update, I believe.
And this guy says it's 15 days. Oh, offline maps used to expire after 30 days, but it's normally a year now.
Oh, so maybe they've changed that. It's been
That
a
was
while since
on
I've actually had to use mine.
2019.
Okay.
That was a year and 3 months ago.
Well, I really haven't used my maps at all because of,
Yeah.
COVID. I haven't
True.
gone anywhere. So They may have updated that. That would make more
If you go,
sense. They
if you
probably.
open the menu, select offline maps, you can see how many days you have left.
Oh, really? Okay. That's good to know. Download, we'll use, yep. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, fun fact. Could be up to a year. Anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up there because now we're just getting weird and talking about random stuff like Google Maps. But thank you guys all for stopping by. We're going to be back next week, yeah?
Yep.
Next week we're good. The week after, I think we're going to not stream. That's day before Christmas.
That's Christmas Eve, which is when my family does stuff. So
yes, so definitely nothing on the 24th. So we'll be back on the 17th. Nothing on the 24th. Maybe on the 31st. I don't know. We'll talk about that one later. But
yeah, we might be taking 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, thank you guys all for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed the randomness that is This Week in Tech with Carl and Justin. So
yes,
thank you all. Have a great weekend. Great week. If you don't see next weekend, have a Merry Christmas. So thank you all. Have a good night. Bye.
have a good one. Bye.